Crash landing on Zeta 9. The Starship Odyssey shuddered violently as it plummeted through the atmosphere of Zeta 9, an uncharted planet in the far reaches of the Andromeda Galaxy. Captain Sarah Chen gritted her teeth, her hands gripping the controls so tightly her knuckles turned white. Warning alarms blared throughout the cockpit, red lights flashing ominously. "Come on, baby, hold together," Sarah muttered, her eyes darting between the rapidly approaching ground and the ship's failing systems. The Odyssey had been hit by an unexpected gravitational anomaly, pulling it out of its survey trajectory and into a death spiral towards the alien world below. As the ground rushed up to meet her, Sarah made a split-second decision. She jettisoned the ship's outer hull, sacrificing it to slow their descent. The Odyssey's inner core, containing the bridge and essential systems, broke free. Sarah activated the emergency thrusters, praying to whatever cosmic forces might be listening that they would be enough. The impact was brutal. Sarah's head slammed against the control panel, and darkness engulfed her. When she regained consciousness, the taste of copper filled her mouth. Sarah groaned, giddily touching her forehead where a gash oozed blood. The ship's emergency lights bathed the destroyed bridge in an eerie red glow. Sparks flew from shattered consoles, and the acrid smell of burnt circuitry filled the air. "Status report," Sarah croaked, her training kicking in despite the situation. "Life support, critical. Communications, offline. Hull integrity, compromised." The ship's air responded, its usually smooth voice now glitching and distorted. Sarah unbuckled herself from the pilot's seat, wincing as pain shot through her body. She limped to the emergency locker, retrieving a medkit and the survival pack. As she treated her wounds, Sarah's mind raced. She was stranded on an unknown planet, light years from any human outpost. The chances of rescue were astronomically slim. But Sarah Chen hadn't become the youngest captain in the Galactic Survey Corps by giving up easily. She sealed her suit, grabbed her gear, and prepared to face whatever awaited her on this alien world. The airlock hissed open, and Sarah stepped out onto the surface of Zeta 9. The landscape that greeted her was both beautiful and terrifying. Twin suns hung low in the sky, one blue and one red, casting an otherworldly purple light across the terrain. The ground was a patchwork of iridescent crystal formations and dark, porous rock. In the distance, great spires of stone reached towards the sky, defying gravity in ways that shouldn't be possible. Sarah activated her suit's atmospheric analyzer. The results were not encouraging. The air was thin and laden with toxic particles. Without her suit, she wouldn't last an hour. As she surveyed the crash site, movement caught her eye. Something was approaching from behind a nearby crystal formation. Sarah's hand went to her sidearm, her heart pounding. The creature that emerged was unlike anything in the known galaxy. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, its body a symphony of swirling colors that seemed to shift and change with each movement. Multiple limbs, some ending in delicate appendages, others in what looked like tools, extended from its central mass. But most striking were its eyes, dozens of them, arranged in intricate patterns across its upper body, each one glowing with an inner intelligence. Sarah raised her hands slowly, showing she was unarmed. "I come in peace," she said, knowing her suit's universal translator would attempt to convey her meaning. The alien being stopped a few meters away. Its colors swirled more rapidly, and a humming vibration filled the air. Suddenly, Sarah's translator crackled to life. "You, not, belong," came a halting, synthesized voice. "Why here?" Sarah took a deep breath. This was first contact, a moment she'd had trained for but never truly expected to experience. "My name is Sarah Chen. I'm a human from the planet Earth. My ship crashed. I mean no harm." The alien's eyes blinked in a mesmerizing sequence. "I, Salith. This, Zeta 9. Dangerous. You, die here." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "Can you help me? I need to repair my ship or find a way to contact my people." Salith's colors darkened. No, leave. Harvesters. Come soon. They take all. Before Sarah could ask what harvesters were, the ground began to tremble. In the distance, the crystal formations started to glow with an ominous light. Salith's body rippled with what Sarah interpreted as fear. Run. The alien's translated voice shouted, hide or die. Without waiting for a response, Salith turned and moved with surprising speed towards a crevice in the rocky ground. Sarah hesitated for a split second, torn between the instinct to return to her ship and the clear urgency in Salith's warning. The decision was made for her as the tremors intensified. Cracks appeared in the ground around the Odyssey's wreckage, and with a groan of twisting metal, the ship began to sink into the suddenly liquefied rock. No, Sarah cried out, watching helplessly as her only link to home disappeared into the alien Earth. With no other choice, she turned and ran after Salith, her mind reeling from the rapid turn of events. As she reached the crevice, she looked back one last time. The horizon was filled with towering mechanical shapes, advancing relentlessly towards her crash site. Sarah slipped into the narrow opening, finding herself in a twisting tunnel that led deep underground. Salith waited for her, its bioluminescent glow providing just enough light to see. What's happening? Sarah asked, her voice shaking despite her best efforts to remain calm. Harvest begins, Salith replied ominously. We hide or become fuel. As the sounds of destruction echoed from above, Sarah realized that her mission had just changed dramatically. No longer was she here to survey an alien world. Now she was fighting for survival on a planet that seemed intent on killing her. But as fear threatened to overwhelm her, Sarah felt something else rising within her, determination. She was a captain of the Galactic Survey Corps, a representative of humanity in the far reaches of space. She had not come this far to die on an alien world. All right, Salith, Sarah said, her voice steadying. Tell me everything you know. We're going to survive this, and then we're going to find a way to stop these harvesters. Salith's eyes blinked in what might have been surprise. You, different, the alien observed. Maybe hope. As they descended deeper into the planet's underground labyrinth, Sarah knew that the real challenge was just beginning. But with her human ingenuity and Salith's alien knowledge, perhaps they stood a chance. The fate of Zeta 9, and possibly the galaxy, now rested in their hands. The crystal caverns of Zeta 9. As Sarah and Salith ventured deeper into the planet's subterranean maze, the tunnel walls began to pulse with an otherworldly bioluminescence. Veins of crystal, no thicker than a hair, ran through the rock like glowing capillaries. The effect was both mesmerizing and slightly nauseating. Salith, Sarah whispered, her voice echoing softly. What are these crystals? The alien's body rippled with colors that Sarah was beginning to interpret as thoughtfulness. Zeta 9, alive, Salith explained, its translated voice sounding more fluid as it adapted to Sarah's language. Crystals, planet's neurons. We walk inside brain. Sarah's mind reeled at the implication. A sentient planet. It sounded like something out of a fever dream. But after everything she'd seen in the last few hours, she was ready to believe almost anything. As they descended further, the tunnel opened into a vast cavern that took Sarah's breath away. Enormous crystal formations jutted from floor to ceiling, each one pulsing with its own unique rhythm of light. In the center of the cavern stood what could only be described as a city, but unlike any city Sarah had ever seen. Structures of living crystal and pulsating organic matter intertwined in possible geometries. Alien beings of various shapes and sizes moved through the city, their bodies shimmering with the same bioluminescence as the cavern walls. Welcome to Luminara, Salith announced, a hint of pride in its synthesized voice. Last refuge of the Zeta 9 resistance. Sarah stood in awe, her scientific mind racing to catalogue everything she saw. But before she could ask any of the 1,000 questions forming in her mind, a commotion erupted near the center of the city. A group of aliens, similar in appearance to Xalith, but with subtle variations in color and limb configuration, approached rapidly. Their bodies pulsed with agitated patterns. Xalith, one of them called out, its voice translated through Sarah's suit. You bring outsider, madness, the harvesters will follow. Xalith's body flared with defensive colors. No choice, human crashed. Knowledge, valuable, can help fight harvesters. The lead alien, its body a swirl of deep purples and angry reds, turned its cluster of eyes towards Sarah. Human, your kind is unknown to us. Why should we trust you? Sarah straightened her posture, channeling every ounce of her captain's training. My name is Captain Sarah Chen of the Galactic Survey Corps. I come from a planet called Earth, millions of light years from here. My mission is peaceful exploration, but I'm trained to handle crisis situations. If your world is in danger, I want to help. The alien leader's colors shifted, displaying what Sarah hoped was consideration rather than hostility. After a tense moment, it spoke again. I am Zorax, leader of the Luminara Resistance. Your arrival is unexpected, but perhaps it is the will of Zeta 9 itself. Come, the Council must hear your story. As they moved through the Crystal City, Sarah's mind buzzed with questions. Xalith, she whispered, what are the harvesters, and why do you need a resistance? Xalith's colors dimmed slightly. Harvesters, not of Zeta 9, came from stars, long ago. They feed on planets' life force, drain crystals, leave worlds dead. We fight to survive. The gravity of the situation hit Sarah like a physical blow. This wasn't just about her survival anymore. An entire living planet was at stake. They arrived at a large structure that seemed to be grown from a single massive crystal. Inside, a group of aliens waited, their bodies a rainbow of shifting colors and patterns. Zorax addressed the council. Esteemed members, we face an unprecedented situation. A being from beyond our star system has arrived on Zeta 9. Sarah stepped forward, feeling the weight of dozens of alien eyes upon her. She took a deep breath and began to speak, her words translated by her suit and echoed by the crystal walls. Members of the Council, I come before you as a representative of humanity and the Galactic Survey Corps. My arrival on your world was unintended, but now that I'm here, I offer my assistance in your fight against the harvesters. A ripple of color passed through the assembled aliens. One of them, its body a shimmering gold, spoke up. What could one alien possibly offer against the might of the harvesters? They have stripped countless worlds before ours. Sarah's mind raced. What could she offer? Then an idea struck her. Knowledge, she said firmly. I bring knowledge of technologies and strategies from across the galaxy. But more importantly, I bring a fresh perspective. Sometimes an outsider's view is exactly what's needed to solve an insurmountable problem. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of humming and flashing colors as the aliens debated among themselves. Finally, Zorax raised a limb for silence. Captain Chen, the alien leader said, its voice grave. Your offer is appreciated, but our situation is dire. The harvesters grow stronger with each passing cycle. Soon, they will breach even our deepest sanctuaries. We have but one hope left, the Nexus Core. The Nexus Core? Sarah asked, intrigued. Xalith's body pulsed with excitement. Heart of planet, source of all life. Legend says, great power. Could destroy harvesters, but dangerous. No one ever reached it. Zorax nodded, its colors shifting to a deep, resolute blue. The journey to the Nexus Core is perilous, filled with traps and defenses left by our ancestors. None who have attempted it have returned. But now, with the harvesters closing in, we have no choice. We must reach the core or perish. Sarah felt a familiar thrill run through her body, the same feeling she got before every dangerous mission, every leap into the unknown. This was what she was trained for. I volunteer, she said, her voice strong and clear. I'll go to the Nexus Core. The council erupted once more, but Salif moved closer to Sarah, its colors a mix of admiration and concern. Journey dangerous. May not survive. Sarah grinned beneath her helmet. Where I come from, we have a saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Besides, my suit's systems might give us an edge your people didn't have before. After much debate, the council agreed. Sarah would attempt the journey to the Nexus Core, accompanied by Salif as a guide. As they prepared for the perilous expedition, gathering supplies and information, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. She was about to embark on a mission that could determine the fate of an entire living planet. Looking at Salif, whose body now pulsed with a determination that matched her own, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. When she crashed on this alien world, she thought her story was ending. Now, she realized, it was just beginning. With a nod to her alien companion, Sarah stepped towards the tunnel that would lead them deeper into the living heart of Zeta 9. Whatever challenges awaited them, she was ready to face them. For the sake of this world, for the memory of Earth, and for the spirit of exploration that had brought her to the stars, Sarah Chen would not fail. The fate of Zeta 9 now rested in her hands, and she was determined to show these aliens exactly what humanity was capable of: the quantum labyrinth. As Sarah and Salif descended deeper into the pulsating heart of Zeta 9, the crystal veins lining the walls grew thicker, their glow intensifying. The air hummed with an energy that made Sarah's skin tingle even through her suit. Salif, Sarah asked, her voice hushed in awe, what's causing this energy? It's like nothing I've ever encountered. The alien's body shimmered with what Sarah had come to recognize as excitement. We approach. Quantum labyrinth. First defense of Nexus Core. Reality becomes fluid here. As if on cue, the tunnel ahead of them began to shift and warp. The walls rippled like water, and Sarah's vision blurred at the edges. She blinked hard, trying to clear her sight, but the distortion only intensified. Warning, her suit's AI chimed in, detecting extreme space-time anomalies, recalibrating sensors. Suddenly, the tunnel split into multiple paths, each one twisting off into impossible angles that hurt Sarah's brain to look at directly. She reached out to steady herself against the wall, only to find her hand passing right through it. Salif, she called out, panic rising in her voice. What's happening? The alien's form seemed to stretch and compress, its colors cycling rapidly. Quantum, flux, must, focus, think, destination. Sarah's scientific mind raced to make sense of the situation. Quantum flux? It was theoretical tech back on Earth, but here it seemed to be a natural phenomenon. She closed her eyes, trying to center herself. Okay, she muttered, think of the destination, the Nexus Core. We need to reach the Nexus Core. When she opened her eyes, the world had changed again. They were now standing in what appeared to be a vast chamber, its walls lined with mirrors that reflected infinite versions of themselves. Each reflection showed a slightly different scene, some where they were further along their journey, others where they had taken different paths entirely. Incredible, Sarah breathed. It's like we're seeing all possible timelines at once. Salif's body pulsed with caution. Careful, choose wrong path, lost forever. Sarah nodded, studying the reflections intently. She noticed that in some, her suit was damaged or her posture showed fatigue. In others, she looked confident, determined. Following her instincts, she pointed to a reflection where both she and Salif appeared battle-worn but victorious. There, she said firmly, that's the path we need to take. As soon as the words left her mouth, reality shifted again. They were propelled through a kaleidoscope of fractured dimensions, glimpsing strange alien worlds and alternate versions of themselves. Sarah felt her atoms stretching, separating, then snapping back together. When the world finally stabilized, they found themselves in a massive spherical chamber. Floating platforms of crystal orbited a central pillar of pure energy that stretched from floor to ceiling. The Nexus Core, Salith hummed, its body glowing with reverence. But before they could celebrate their arrival, a booming voice echoed through the chamber, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Into your ears, it thundered, shaking the very air around them. You breathed the NCTM of ZETA9. Prove your worth or BERASED from XIS tense. The central pillar of energy pulsed, and suddenly, holographic projections sprang to life around them. Complex mathematical equations, chemical formulas, and what looked like blueprints for advanced technology floated in the air. A test, Sarah realized aloud. It's testing our intelligence, our worthiness to access the core. Salith's colors swirled with uncertainty, beyond our knowledge. Ancestors' wisdom, lost to time. But Sarah's eyes lit up with determination. This was her element. Years of scientific training and human curiosity were about to pay off. Maybe not all of it, she said, her fingers flying over her suit's holographic interface. Some of these equations, they're similar to theories we've been working on back on Earth. Quantum entanglement, dark energy manipulation. Salith, if we combine your ancestral knowledge with my scientific background, we might just have a chance. What followed was a frantic race against time. Sarah and Salith worked in perfect synergy, her human intuition and scientific knowledge complementing the aliens' innate understanding of Zeta-9's systems. They solved equation after equation, unraveled complex DNA-like structures of crystal data, and pieced together schematics for technology beyond anything Sarah had ever dreamed of. As they completed each challenge, the platforms beneath their feet shifted, bringing them closer to the central pillar. The voice boomed again, this time with a note of surprise. Unexpected, unprecedented, a symbiosis of nano-doeleg. Finally, they reached the central platform. The pillar of energy before them pulsed with anticipation. Final trial, the voice declared. To access the core, one must be willing to sacrifice. Only through loss can true power be gained. A shimmering portal appeared beside them, showing the surface of Zeta-9. The harvesters had breached the underground defenses and were ravaging the crystal forests above. The resistance fighters were being overwhelmed. Choose, the voice commanded. Save your people or claim the power of the core. Salith's body rippled with anguish. My people, dying. But without core, planet doomed. Sarah's mind raced. There had to be a way to save both. She thought back to everything they'd learned, every challenge they'd overcome. Suddenly, it clicked. Wait, she said, her voice filled with revelation. The equations, the DNA structures. Salith, your people are connected to the planet on a quantum level, aren't you? The alien's colors pulsed in affirmation. Then we don't have to choose, Sarah declared. We can do both. Before Salith could respond, Sarah stepped forward and plunged her hand into the pillar of energy. Pain like she'd never known coursed through her body, but she gritted her teeth and focused. I offer myself, she shouted, a bridge between worlds, between species. Use my mind, my knowledge, to connect the core to the surface. The chamber erupted with blinding light. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, merging with the very essence of Zeta-9. She saw through 1,000,000 crystal eyes, felt the pulse of the planet's core as if it were her own heart. Through sheer force of will, she channeled the core's energy upward, suffusing it through the crystal network that spanned the entire planet. The harvesters, caught in the wave of purifying energy, shrieked and dissolved. On the surface, the resistance fighters watched in awe as their world came alive around them, crystal spires erupting from the ground to impale the invading machines. In the core chamber, the light finally faded. Sarah collapsed, caught by Salith's waiting limbs. Her body felt different, changed on a fundamental level. You merged with core, Salith said, awe in its synthesized voice. Became one with Zeta-9. Sarah looked at her hands, now laced with faintly glowing crystal veins. She could feel the planet's pulse, its thoughts, its very being. "I understand now," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "This is what I was meant to find out here among the stars. Not just to explore, but to connect, to bridge the gap between worlds." As they made their way back to the surface, greeted as heroes by the Resistance, Sarah knew that her journey was far from over. She was no longer just Captain Sarah Chen of Earth. She was now part of something greater, a symbiosis between human and alien that would reshape the galaxy. The Harvesters were defeated, but there were more threats out there, more worlds in need. And now, with the power of Zeta 9 flowing through her, Sarah was ready to face them all. As she looked up at the alien sky, now cleared of the Harvester ships, Sarah smiled. Humanity's true adventure in the stars was just beginning. The cosmic convergence. The twin suns of Zeta 9 cast a kaleidoscope of colors across the newly rejuvenated crystal forests as Sarah Chen, now more than human, stood atop a towering spire. Her body, infused with the planet's energy, pulsed with an otherworldly glow. Beside her, Salith's form shimmered with a mix of awe and uncertainty. "Sarah human," Salith hummed, its translated voice tinged with concern. "What now becomes of you? Of us?" Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the ebb and flow of Zeta 9's consciousness intertwined with her own. When she opened them, they gleamed with determination. "We've won a battle, Salith," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "But the war is far from over. The Harvesters were just the beginning. There's a whole galaxy out there, filled with wonders and terrors we can't even imagine." As if in response to her words, the crystal spire beneath their feet began to pulse with energy. Suddenly, a holographic display materialized around them, showing countless star systems and swirling galaxies. "Whoa," Sarah breathed, her scientific mind racing to comprehend the data streaming before her. "It's like a cosmic internet. Zeta 9 is connected to a vast network of living planets." Salith's colors swirled with excitement. Ancient legends speak of such network. Cosmic synapses, lost knowledge of ancestors. As they watched, red warning signals began to flash across various points in the galactic map. Sarah instinctively knew what they meant. "The Harvesters," she said grimly. "They're not just targeting Zeta 9. They're systematically destroying living planets across the galaxy." A surge of determination flowed through Sarah. This was bigger than her, bigger than Earth or Zeta 9. The fate of countless worlds hung in the balance. "We need to warn them," Sarah declared. "We need to unite these worlds against the Harvester threat." But before they could act, a new presence made itself known. The air around them shimmered, and a being of pure energy materialized. It was vaguely humanoid in shape, but its form constantly shifted and flowed like liquid starlight. "Greetings, Sarah Chen of Earth, Salith of Zeta 9. The being spoke, its voice echoing in their minds rather than their ears. "I am the Overseer, guardian of the cosmic synapses." Sarah and Salith exchanged glances, both equally awestruck. "Overseer," Sarah began, gathering her courage, "we've discovered the Harvester threat. We need to warn the other worlds, organize a defense." The Overseer's form pulsed, interrupting her. "Your intentions are noble but premature. The cosmic synapsis is not merely a communication network. It is the key to unlocking the true potential of sentient planets and their inhabitants. But it requires perfect harmony, a union of diverse consciousnesses." The being's gaze seemed to pierce right through Sarah. "You, Sarah Chen, represent a unique anomaly, a bridge between organic life and planetary consciousness. You may be the catalyst we have awaited for eons." Excitement and trepidation warred within Sarah. "What do you mean? What do I need to do?" The Overseer's form expanded, enveloping them in a cocoon of swirling energy. "You must undergo the cosmic convergence, a merging of minds across the galactic network. If successful, it will awaken the dormant defenses of every living planet, creating an impenetrable barrier against the Harvesters and any future threats." Salith's colors pulsed with concern. Dangerous, the Sarah human. The overseer's light dimmed slightly. There was great risk. The human mind was not designed to channel such vast cosmic energies. The process could destroy you, erase your very essence from existence. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, but she squared her shoulders. This was what being a captain in the Galactic Survey Corps was all about, facing the unknown, taking risks to protect others. "I'll do it," she said firmly. "Whatever the cost, if it means saving countless worlds, I'll pay it." The overseer's form brightened. "Very well. Prepare yourself, Sarah Chen. The convergence begins." The world around them dissolved into pure energy. Sarah felt her consciousness expanding, stretching across vast interstellar distances. She touched the minds of countless alien beings, each unique yet connected by the living essence of their planets. Flashes of alien worlds danced before her mind's eye, crystal oceans teeming with bioluminescent life, floating cities suspended in gas-giant atmospheres, sentient forests that spanned entire continents. The beauty and diversity of it all nearly overwhelmed her. But with the wonders came the horrors. Sarah saw worlds ravaged by the harvesters, their crystalline surfaces cracked and drained of life. She felt the anguish of entire species snuffed out in an instant, their potential lost forever. The anger and sorrow threatened to tear her apart. Her human mind struggled to contain the vast cosmic energies flowing through her. She could feel herself slipping away, her identity dissolving into the cosmic consciousness. Just as she thought she would be lost forever, Sarah felt a familiar presence. Desolate mind touched hers, an anchor in the storm of cosmic awareness. "Sarah human," Desolate's thoughts resonated. "Remember who you are. Your humanity, your strength. It is why you were chosen. Embrace it." With a supreme effort of will, Sarah pulled herself back from the brink. She was Sarah Chen, captain, explorer, protector. Human, yet now so much more. She embraced her humanity even as she opened herself fully to the cosmic energy. A shockwave of pure thought exploded outward from her, racing across the galactic network. On every living world, crystalline structures burst from the ground, forming an interlocking energy grid that spanned the galaxy. The harvesters, caught in the wave of awakening planetary consciousness, found their machines failing, their ships falling from the skies. The threat that had loomed for eons was neutralized in an instant. As suddenly as it began, the convergence ended. Sarah found herself back on the crystal spire of Zeta 9, gasping for breath. Desolate supported her, its colors pulsing with concern and awe. The overseer materialized before them, its form brighter than ever. "It is done," it announced. "The cosmic synapsis is fully awakened. A new era of galactic cooperation and defense has begun." Sarah looked down at her hands, still pulsing with cosmic energy. She could feel the connections to countless worlds, a web of consciousness that spanned the stars. "What happens now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The overseer's form shimmered with what might have been a smile. "Now, Sarah Chen, you take your place among the guardians of the galaxy. Your journey has only just begun." As the implications of her new role sank in, Sarah gazed up at the star-filled sky. She had left Earth seeking new worlds to explore, new life to discover. Instead, she had become part of something greater than she could have ever imagined. With Desolate by her side and the power of the cosmic synapsis flowing through her, Sarah Chen was ready to face whatever challenges the universe had in store. The greatest adventure of all time was just beginning. The multiverse nexus. The crystalline spires of Zeta 9 hummed with newfound energy as Sarah Chen, now guardian of the cosmic synapsis, prepared for her next mission. Her body, a perfect fusion of human and alien technology, glowed with an ethereal light. Sylith, her loyal companion, shimmered with anticipation. "Sarah Guardian," Sylith's translated voice vibrated with excitement. "Overseer summons. New threat, beyond imagination." Sarah nodded, her mind already reaching out across the vast network of living planets. In the weeks since the cosmic convergence, she had become accustomed to her new abilities, but the sheer scale of her consciousness still left her in awe. They made their way to the planet's core, now a shimmering chamber of pure energy. The Overseer awaited them, its form more agitated than Sarah had ever seen. Guardian, the being of pure energy pulsed, we face a crisis that threatens not just our galaxy, but the very fabric of reality itself. A holographic display materialized, showing a swirling vortex of chaotic energy at the edge of known space. Sarah's enhanced senses could perceive the wrongness of it, a tear in the very fabric of space-time. "What am I looking at?" Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the terrifying answer. "A breach," the Overseer replied gravely, "between dimensions. Our actions during the convergence had unforeseen consequences. We have inadvertently created a multiverse nexus." Sarah's mind reeled at the implications. "You mean we've opened a doorway to other realities?" "Precisely," the Overseer confirmed. "And not all of these realities are benign. We have detected incursions from dimensions with physics so alien they threaten to unravel our very existence. Worse yet, we have glimpsed versions of the Harvesters from realities where they were victorious, armed with technologies beyond our comprehension." Salih's colors pulsed with fear. How fight enemies beyond understanding? Sarah squared her shoulders, her determination rising to meet the challenge. The same way humanity has always faced the unknown, with courage, ingenuity, and the willingness to adapt. She turned to the Overseer. "What do you need me to do?" The energy being's form shimmered with what might have been approval. "You must journey to the Nexus itself. Use your unique connection to the cosmic synapses to stabilize the breach and establish a permanent barrier between dimensions." "But be warned," it continued, its tone grave, "the journey will take you through multiple realities. You may encounter versions of yourself, of Earth, of everything you know, twisted in ways you cannot imagine. The psychological toll will be immense." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, but she nodded resolutely. "I understand the risks, but the multiverse is counting on us. I won't let it down." With a thought, Sarah summoned her cosmic armor, a seamless fusion of advanced technology and living crystal. Solid's form shifted, integrating itself into the armor as a symbiotic support system. "Let's do this," Sarah said, her voice resonating with power. The Overseer's energy enveloped them, and with a flash of blinding light, they were hurled into the swirling chaos of the multiverse nexus. Sarah's consciousness expanded beyond anything she had experienced before. She saw infinite Earths, some thriving utopias, others burnt-out husks. She glimpsed realities where the laws of physics were so different that her mind struggled to comprehend what she was seeing. As they traveled deeper into the nexus, they encountered their first hostile incursion. A swarm of chronoparasites, creatures that fed on the time streams of entire universes, descended upon them. "Salih," Sarah called out, her mind racing to formulate a plan. "We need to synchronize our temporal fields." Working in perfect harmony, Sarah and Salih created a bubble of stable time around themselves. The chronoparasites, unable to penetrate their defense, withered and faded back into the void. But they had no time to celebrate their victory. The next challenge came in the form of a twisted mirror universe, where a version of Sarah led a conquering armada of harvesters. Well, the dark Sarah sneered, her voice distorted and cruel. "Looks like in some realities I never lost my ambition." Sarah stood her ground, facing her doppelganger. "Ambition without compassion is just greed," she retorted. "I haven't lost anything. I've gained a purpose greater than myself." The two Sarahs clashed in a battle that spanned multiple dimensions. Energy beams cut through the fabric of reality, and entire pocket universes were born and died in the wake of their conflict. In the end, it was Sarah's connection to the living planets that gave her the edge. She called upon the power of countless worlds, channeling their combined life force into a single devastating attack that banished her dark counterpart back to her own dimension. Exhausted but determined, Sarah pressed on. They faced reality storms that threatened to erase them from existence, fought beings of pure abstract thought, and navigated through conceptual spaces where the very idea of physical form was foreign. Finally, they reached the heart of the nexus. Here, all realities converged into a single point of infinite possibility. Sarah could feel the strain on her mind, the weight of all existence pressing down upon her. "This is it," she said to Xalith, her voice barely a whisper in the cosmic din. "We need to seal the breach." Sarah reached out with her consciousness, touching the minds of every living planet across every reality. She felt their fear, their hope, their determination. Drawing upon their combined strength, she began to weave a barrier of pure thought and energy. The effort was tremendous. Sarah felt as if her very being was unraveling, stretched across infinite dimensions. Just when she thought she couldn't hold on any longer, she felt Salith's presence, supporting her, anchoring her to their reality. With a final, monumental effort, Sarah brought the barrier into existence. A shimmering wall of iridescent energy spread across the multiverse nexus, sealing the breach and stabilizing the boundaries between dimensions. As the last of the exotic energies dissipated, Sarah and Salith found themselves back on Zeta 9, collapsing onto the crystal floor of the planetary core. The Overseer's form coalesced before them, radiating with an emotion that could only be described as awe. "You have done it, Guardian. The multiverse is safe, thanks to your efforts." Sarah, drained but triumphant, managed a weak smile. "Just doing my job," she quipped, her old human humor shining through. As she rested, allowing the living energy of Zeta 9 to rejuvenate her, Sarah reflected on her journey. From a simple captain of the Galactic Survey Court to the guardian of the multiverse, she had come further than she ever thought possible. But she knew this was just the beginning. Out there, across the infinite expanse of the multiverse, new adventures and challenges awaited. And with Xalith by her side and the power of the cosmic synapses at her command, Sarah Chen was ready to face them all. The stars beckoned, and the greatest story ever told continued on.